don't get surprised or intrigued by seeing China in our thumbnail and title. Everyone knows China is the talk of the town. They're the world's third largest country in the world, and according to 2011 figures, China remains the country with the highest population, with a total of 1.347 billion. Now, with this much population, there are some downsides too. They've had to face major problems like water shortages, and it has been for decades. And for your information, China houses 1/5 of the global population while only having 6% of the world's total freshwater resources. In 2005, the former Chinese Prime Minister warned of the danger of water shortages, which he said would threaten the very survival of the Chinese nation. Climate change isn't helping either. The warmer weather is melting the glaciers, which is decreasing the accessible freshwater resources at an alarming rate. And in this video, we'll tell you why China is taking extreme measures to force 4 massive rivers together. You can probably understand how bad water shortages can be. China's waterways are so fragile, as pollution, damming, overuse, land reclamation, and climate change combined are causing the devastating effect. Environmental degradation is estimated to be costing China around 10% of its GDP every year. Their civilizations once thrived by living for thousands of years along the Yangtze and Yellow rivers, feeding on the glacial meltwater from the stable source, Queen High Tibetan Hills. But today, the ice mass on these hills has reduced significantly, making it harder for supplying water, and this is the direct result of global warming. And global warming has raised the temperature of this glacial region by around 3 degrees Celsius over the past half-century. This increase has also changed atmospheric circulation, and therefore, it has become more difficult for humid summer monsoons to reach northern and inland areas, resulting in more unreliable rainfall patterns. And one example of this was a 116-day Beijing drought, which was extraordinary and unusual because of the dry weather in recent years. It was the period between October 2017 and February 2018 where there was no rain or snow recorded in the capital. A study by Greenpeace in 2018 revealed that 82 of China's glaciers have fled, and more than 1/5 of the ice cover has vanished since the 1950s. They've also predicted that as early as 2030, the shortage will become so severe when the glaciers will reach their peak water and there will be no water supply left for consumption. That's what happens when humans try to challenge Mother Nature. 80% of freshwater resources in China are focused in the southern part of China, which is a problem that needs to be solved because the northern part of China is where the water is needed. That's why the water crisis has forced China to develop various water teams to boost water accessibility in dry regions. The water diversion project is arguably the most ambitious, largest, and most expensive engineering project in the country. It's expected to cost $62 billion by its completion in 2050. If we zoom out a little on the map, you'll see that it shows the 3 new routes that will have to be created to divert water from the south to the dry north. These routes are called the eastern, western, and central routes respectively. Now, the eastern and middle routes have already been completed, taking around 10 years each to build. The western route, however, is far from completion, as it isn't expected to be completed before 2050. This is a long time to wait. Meanwhile, they'll wonder about the environmental impacts of this project. All 3 routes will change natural hydrology on an unprecedented large scale. Natural landscapes will be harmed, leading to biodiversity loss. An example of this is the eastern route, since its completion has risen the water level of the 4 lakes it passes through, which is worse than you might think. A 2019 study estimated that aquatic plants were decayed by up to 250,000 tons in the Dongping Lake nearby the construction of the eastern route. However, it's regrettably not the first time China's streams have led to the disappearance of local species in the last decade. The construction of the 3 stunning dams has permanently damaged the Yangtze's landscape. The habitat had already endangered T. dolphin by reducing them to extinction at the end of 2006. China is trying its best to take away water and shelter from its own citizens in the south. So, it's fair to say that China will go far to get what they want. China's water division project is at best a short-term solution, because China only possesses 6% of the Earth's total freshwater supply, which will never be able to sustain China's whole population. One of the only solutions China has available is saltwater desalination, which is something Saudi Arabia has been surviving on for many years. But this method is extremely energy demanding and therefore very expensive, making it useless without some sort of government subsidies. But it's not really viable for more than 1 billion people, as it would be highly unprofitable. So, I guess only time will tell whether China will survive its water crisis or not. What are your thoughts? Shoot us a comment below, and we'll see you in our next video.